Welcome to On the Air with Gloria Hass, the Interdimensional Intuitive, and thank you for being here. Before we get started, I would like to thank our sponsors.
You wake up, heart pounding, drenched in sweat. A feeling of the strange blankets you in dread. A figure stands beside you and vanishes before you can make it out. It's 3:43 a.m. again. Why does this keep happening to me? Follow as long as I, Tim Caney, share my experiences with the strange and paranormal in my first book and memoir, 3:43 a.m. Awakenings of an Experiencer, available on Kindle and Amazon today.
Please check out the affiliate links in the description. The views and opinions expressed in this show or comments on this channel are those of the guests, sponsors, or authors, and do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by this show or channel's broadcaster. All information, content, and material of this show or channel is for informational and entertainment purposes only and are not intended to serve as a substitute for consultation, diagnosis, and/or medical treatment of a qualified physician or healthcare provider. Also, the content is not intended to be treated as legal advice, nor is any attorney-client relationship created therein. All material in this show, video or audio, is the intellectual property of Gloria Hass. Books, images, or other suggested media is used by permission or endorsement through Gloria Hass by the guests, speakers, or sponsors of the show. This video and audio were produced in its whole by Gloria Hass and is intellectual property of her. Any unauthorized use, partial or as a whole, is strictly prohibited. On this episode, we have Tatiana. How do you pronounce your last name?
Szulc.
She is an LMHC. She's a licensed mental health counselor, somatic experiencing practitioner at an advanced level, and an ear acupuncture technician. Tatiana hosts a podcast titled She is Resilient, and it's on Spotify. It's a podcast for women on their healing journeys who are ready to start living their most authentic and empowered lives outside of survival mode. Welcome, Tatiana.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I'm glad you are here. So before we get started with your reading, would you please take a few minutes and tell our listening audience about what a somatic experiencing practitioner is and also an ear acupuncture technician?
Absolutely. So, somatic experiencing is a body-oriented approach to healing trauma and the nervous system where you don't need to talk about your traumatic experiences or even remember your traumatic experiences because we are working directly with your body, directly with your nervous system. So, as a somatic experiencing practitioner, I'm really decoding your nervous system and really trying to interpret what your body is trying to tell us and move you through our survival responses, fight, flight, and freeze. And so I am just so passionate about somatic experiencing because so many people don't really want to talk about their traumas. And so it really makes it a very gentle way to healing. So that is somatic experiencing. And as an ear acupuncture technician, I use the 5-needle protocol, which is really just 5 needles in the ear to stimulate the vagus nerve, which is the primary nerve of the parasympathetic nervous system. And we are really just using those pressure points to help you feel more calm, relaxed, and grounded in your body.
So for the people who are listening to this on Spotify, and this is an audio recording, when you say on the ear, is that the outer side of the ear or the entire ear, including part of the inner ear?
It's the inner ear, and there are 5 pressure points in the inner ear that we are using needles.
Okay.
I know if you don't like needles, then maybe it's not for you, but some people don't mind it. And, the needles are super, super tiny, so you barely feel them.
Okay, because I had done acupuncture many years ago, and I have a fear of needles. With you describing it, I cringe, but I know that when I've done acupuncture, I've been relaxed.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly the same feeling.
Okay, could you please tell us a little more about your podcast and what topics you cover?
Absolutely. My podcast is all about trauma healing, somatic healing, nervous system healing, and holistic healing. And so it's called She is Resilient because I share my story with, the audience on how I was able to shift my nervous system from survival mode to feeling more empowered and alive and just live a life outside of survival mode. And so I really talk about how to create resiliency in the body, in the nervous system. And then my amazing guests just share their vulnerable stories and the things that they've overcome to become the empowered women they are today. So it's all about how to really heal ourselves, our nervous system to thrive and to live our best lives.
That's really cool. And it's much needed in this time since a lot of people have lived through trauma and we're still coming with the aftermath of 2020, which built more up, I believe, built up more trauma in people.
Absolutely. Yeah. 1000%. I think that if you live in, the United States, if you're a human, right? Like I think that you've experienced some form of trauma. It's something that we don't really get to choose, but the good news is that we don't have to live in those states forever.
When you do your somatic healing and everything, because you are a licensed mental health counselor, do you have your own business or do you go to work somewhere?
Yeah, so I do have my own business. So I have a physical office. So I have my own private practice where I have my physical office and I can see people locally in person. But as a somatic experiencing practitioner, I can see people all throughout the United States virtually as well as internationally.
That's really good to know because if somebody wanted to purchase your services and see you, then they can do it because of the virtual office instead of trying to get there physically. And
Exactly, 1000%. Yeah, it makes it so much easier. And I still have some local people who like to see me virtually instead of coming in person, and that's totally fine too. So
that's cool. Are you ready to get started with your reading?
I am so ready. I am so excited for this.
Okay, I had a vision, and I don't know if this pertains to you, but I saw a person throwing knives at doors.
Oh.
And this could represent a feeling of you being threatened or under attack in your personal life. Does this resonate with you at all? It could be people overstepping your boundaries.
I don't think so. I think that there are maybe tiny moments, maybe where I feel like, oh, was that a passive aggressive dig at me? Like, is that, something that they're saying towards me? And I kind of get in my head around that, but I don't ever feel like I'm under attack. I don't know.
Then this vision probably wasn't for you.
Okay, all right.
It's not for me either, so it's out there for somebody, which I
Okay.
will go into more detail about this vision on the next Mindset Weekly
Okay.
horoscope. And okay, you said you had some questions for me. I'm ready.
Yes. Okay. So, um, the first question that I have is I'm wondering if we could dive into any major career shifts or maybe opportunities that could possibly be coming in the next, I don't know, few months to the next year, if that's something that we could look into.
Are you in a stagnant area or just coming out of a stagnant area with your business? Because I hear the word stagnant.
It feels stagnant, yes.
You will be building, and while you build, it will feel like you're in muck and mire, and it's going forward slowly. But this is all part of the moving process. So you'll need to put new energy behind it and override the stagnant feeling and feel like you are progressing forward in order to break free from the stagnant energy.
Yeah, that makes sense.
There will be openings coming. Summer soon. Possibly in the next 2 to 5 months.
Mhm. Some change, some things coming.
Opportunities. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
And
Yeah.
your next, do you have any more questions about that?
About that, no, I guess I have to be patient.
Yes. I know it's not my easy strong point either.
Yeah, I know. Okay. And so all of my questions are really business and career related, if that's okay.
That's fun.
I have another question. I'm just wondering if there are any insights on how I can better prepare for my stability or financial growth in the upcoming months.
All that you can do to remain stable is save as much as you can. With the rising cost of living, save as much as you can to help you to stay on an even keel. Stability is not going to occur anytime soon. So whatever you can do to mentally and physically prepare yourself financially and mentally for that stability. I mean, for that even keel, more than stability, on that even keel will benefit you.
Okay.
If you might need to take on a part-time job doing what you're doing in the interim to help finance and to help put money into your coffer, to your savings. And it would be beneficial for you to get out into networking groups of people who could best benefit from what you have to offer.
Do you think that correlates with my kind of like my first question of like things are going slow?
Yes, it probably does. Yeah, because that will put you into the eye of the public, more into the eye of people where you live locally, and possibly join some online networking groups and see how that goes. I noticed that with networking groups, everyone likes to pitch their own business, but there are online groups you can attend for free, and there are also some physical outside groups where you can attend, so many visits for free before they want you to join membership. But then some of them have restrictions on what that membership entails. You have to be at every meeting, or or bring a representative. And this way, just hand out your card, sponsor some online events to get to know you so people will see who you are, and possibly have someone who doesn't mind being an assistant, or some people there that you can practice on in front of the group.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
So that will get you out there more, but this is going to be a little slow going, but it's to get your foot in the door and to show you that you shine as an expert.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm curious to know, what does my most successful future self want me to focus on right now.
Getting your foot in the door. Getting your foot in the door. I see you as that highly successful person, and I don't say this to everyone, but I do see you there. I feel that energy is there waiting for you to get your foot in the door, open up that door, and get yourself known, because both in person and internet will combine all of that. And your podcast is a good vehicle to go ahead and promote. And I'm hearing to focus on brick and mortar.
Okay.
More in person, more one-on-one.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Okay. I'm curious to know if there are any unexpected either financial opportunities or challenges that I should be aware of.
With all experiences, you'll have both opportunities and challenges. But they're only a problem if you think they are. Focus on the possibilities of what a challenge can bring, what you need to overcome, what you need to put into next step that you hadn't thought about. But there will be opportunities that are coming. The door will be there when you start embracing and looking at the positive opportunities, that you're a magnet for miracles, you're a magnet for open doors and open possibilities for what you do. So there will be both, but it's up to you, like I said, to not to look at, concentrate on a challenge, but to concentrate that this presented to you is an opportunity. It's changing your point of view, your perspective. So it might seem like it's bone crushing, might not be. It could be, wow, that puts me in a whole different space, a whole different realm that I hadn't even thought about.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm hearing that contact the schools. Since you are already licensed, contact schools to see if you can help work with students as paid, so you can get paid. And see if there are any programs in place for mental health for you to work with them. That's what I just heard pop in.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
And there is red tape, so don't look at the challenge, the obstacle, look at the opportunity that you'll be able to help the children. And possibly contact daycare, but I don't know if you're really going to get there because the parents will have to pay for it. But it's still an opportunity to put your name out there for the parents if they're having a problem child. What we call problem children. But it's children who cannot really verbalize their trauma.
Yeah. I only work with adults, though. I don't work with children.
You may want, there's an unexpected opportunity that may be opening your door.
Interesting. Okay.
So that would take you out of the box of your defined, this is only who I'm going to work with. So
Okay.
you're opening the door for more possibility working with young children who who cannot verbalize. It's like chiropractors who say, I'm only going to work with adults. And there are chiropractors who work with babies who's had their neck and spine all scrunched up from going through the birth canal. And the babies have stopped the continual crying and they feel relief.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, something to think about.
Yep.
Okay, I do have one more question, and related to business. I'm curious to know what my highest self is saying about or wants me to focus on in terms of relationships, like all kinds of relationships, not just I'm thinking like romantic relationships, friendships, family relationships, just kind of like in general.
Infuse your energy. I keep seeing maybe a spirit guide with long white hair. And she's a woman of color. Does this ring a bell?
Would this be someone who was like in my ancestry and like passed away?
Yes. Yeah, because I feel her. I feel her spirit.
I mean, I don't know anyone like that, but I'm just curious.
She is saying that in relationships, just be the natural person you are. Don't try to smooth things over with people. Let them sit with what they need to sit with, and you just work on you. Bring in your love, and a little skepticism is good, but don't be too skeptic.
Okay.
She said there are magical happenings awaiting for you. Take it day by day, one step at a time. But she is one of your guardian angels.
Wow. Does she have a name? How can I connect with her more?
Let me see if I can bring her back. There she is. She's known as Hashem. That's it.
Hashem.
Mhm.
Interesting.
Don't worry too much about romantic relationships. They will crop up when you least expect them. They may be a distraction for you to continue on your path. Just remember, just feed your relationships with your love and make sure there's some people that you prioritize to have a better relationship with because you want to and not because you feel you have to.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Any more questions?
I think that's it, but yeah, I don't know if there's anything else that I don't know that I need insight on. I think that's it for my question.
I think that's it because Hashem came forward and she says, I can still see her, when you connect with her, she will give you more.
How can I connect with her?
Just go, you meditate? Do you meditate?
Yeah.
Okay, go into a meditative state and be open and call on her name and say, I am here. Will you please give me a sign you are, give me tingles, or that's how I feel. I can feel body tingles when they start to channel. but say, could you please let me know you are here, either with a tap on my hand or, or a kiss on my forehead,
Mhm.
or just go ahead and like I said, give body tingles, because that's their spirit coming over you.
Mhm.
And that's usually easier for them to do than to touch you, because that requires a lot of energy.
Yeah.
And just call out her name. It may take a few times, or she may be ever ready and just say, okay, here I am.
Yeah. Great. I'm excited to connect with her. I mean, that's the first time I think, yeah, I mean, I think it's cool that you said that she's a woman of color. I thought that was interesting. And so
Yeah, because I just saw her in the spirit color form.
mhm.
There are some where I just see all white. It's definitely, she is a woman of color, because I could
Yeah,
tell that.
cool. Can you say more about her, or I don't know if you have that
No,
information.
she wants to keep it private between you and her.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much for being here, and hopefully all good things come to you.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. This is a book review of the book Ghosts by Seymour Simon. I searched the local library system to see what books were about ghosts, and came upon this book by Seymour Simon titled Ghosts. This book is categorized under the children's fiction section, available on Hoopla Digital, which is available through my library system. I almost didn't read it because of the book being listed under fiction. I guess books about ghosts are thought of as fiction, even though there are pictures and personal accounts of people seeing them. Ghosts starts out describing ghosts in different terms before the author takes you on a literary trip about the different ghost stories he has read. The noisy ghost of Calvados Castle, the nameless horror of 50 Berkeley Square, a Long Island spirit, the restless coffins, the brown lady of Raynham Hall, the ghostly hitchhikers, the ghostly faces on the SS Watertown, the hounds of death. After reading The Restless Coffins and The Hounds of Death, I thought the two stories had sounded familiar. After giving this thought, I remembered my father telling me these ghost stories to my brother and I when we were children. I thought my father made the stories up, even though he told me the stories were real. This was my first introduction to ghost stories, and they were cut short because they gave me nightmares. My mother said, no more ghost stories, no more horror films. Then I hadn't given ghosts another thought for a very long time. After much discussion, one of my sidekicks, Sherlock, and I decided to give this book a 10 candles. We recommend this as a reading for your preteens and teenagers. This book is great for adults with or without children. This should be a good book for parents and their children to bond with. This is...
Pay attention.
You told me to tell people your story, and now you're telling me to pay attention. I'm trying to. It's 7:40 on Sunday, January 12th. Been just talking with the spirits, and Scott came in, asked me how my day was, and he had rope torture, and he was in a hospital. I don't know if he died there. He said, tell people my story. I'm trying to find out more of his story, unless this is all that he wanted me to film and somebody out there knows who he is. who he was in human form. What else do you want me to know, Scott? I had one spirit come in named Randy, and he said I looked familiar.
Phantom.
Scott, you're a phantom. Usually that means you've been beheaded.
Bottom.
This was also last night, unless this is the phantom who's come in. Phantom only has bottom half of his body. Unless Scott is the phantom, and he's lost half of his body through rope torture. Does this sound familiar to anyone? Does not sound like a fun way to die. Sounds like it was very painful.
Anna.
Hi, Anna. You've been here before. I guess Scott's not going to be talking anymore. You were here yesterday, Anna, with Mick. We danced. You guys danced, and I sang the Hokey Pokey.
You are accepted.
Thank you. You are accepted too. Well, if anyone knows about Scott and what's happened to him, please post in the comments or send me an email at gloriahas with the number 5 at gmail.com. It's still January 12th, and it's about 8:03 in the evening.
Generosity.
And just when I keep thinking I'm going to sleep, they come up with the spirits come up with something interesting. It may have still been Rose, and she heard a knocking, and my refrigerator knocks with the coolant going through the system, and we fight the darkness, which is yay, and kindness. And the word, she came up with the word injected, and I asked what was
Apparition.
injected, and she said her arms, and it happened here, which I'm thinking
Boy.
in the same town I live in. So we have an apparition that is a boy. All of these spirits have their, as you know, their own unique story. What is your name? The apparition. And my battery is going low. Interesting entities, interesting things who hang out in my bathroom. Well, hello. have portal in my, wow, by the window. That is really cool. Let's continue to scan the rest of the bedroom as I get some clothes folded to put away that I just put there this morning. And nothing else looks like it's in my bedroom. Maybe I went too fast. That is wild. I probably went too fast. Yep, here on my table. Oh wow, by my dog tribute memorial. I see someone is behind in bars. Wow. What if I thought that this was a portal in my room, but instead it's a place where the skeleton or another spirit is being held? What are your thoughts? Interesting. An owl pops up when I look at that picture. What's interesting about the owl is I was reading a book the other day about an owl in it called The Ghosts of Calliope Road. And the author described in the storyline about an owl, but I was using my headset when I listened to it, but ghosts can hear it. So I don't know if that picture set it off or if the spirit is letting me know that they were here when I was listening to the book. If you would like to be notified by email of when the next video comes out, please send me an email, and the email is listed in the description. And I promise I won't spam you with other things. You will just get notifications that the show is out. So I won't be sending interim information out, like getting 3 or 4 messages a week. 4 shows of On the Air with Gloria Haas and 5th show of Monthly Predictions. So that's 5 emails a month. So I hope to hear from you.